The ballroom glittered with chandeliers, and music drifted softly through the air. But Richard, the young CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, felt like an imposter in his own suit. To the world, he was the man who had everything: wealth, status, respect. But behind the perfect black tuxedo and the polite smile, there was a hollowness he carried everywhere. The absence of love, the loneliness that not even success could erase. And tonight, at his company's grand annual gala, he had taken an unusual step to silence that emptiness. He had ordered an escort, someone to play the role of his girlfriend. A facade, nothing more. But fate rarely follows carefully drawn plans. Before I continue, I want to pause here and ask you, dear viewers of Whispers of Kindness, if this opening already stirs your heart, please take a second to like this video, share it with someone who believes in love's miracles, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more stories that touch the soul. Your support helps us keep whispering kindness into the world. Now let's return to the story. Richard's daughter Lily was only 4 years old. With her chestnut curls tied up in pink ribbons and a dress as soft as a petal, she was the reason Richard fought through long board meetings, sleepless nights, and constant headlines. She was his anchor, his light. But she was also the quiet reminder of the greatest heartbreak of his life, the loss of his wife during childbirth. Ever since that day, Richard had sworn never to open his heart again. Love had taken too much from him. Still, his board of directors constantly whispered that he needed to appear settled, that investors would trust him more if he looked like a family man, complete with a partner by his side. It was a ridiculous thought, but Richard had caved to pressure. He had hired Emma, a woman he barely knew, to stand beside him at the gala. Emma entered the ballroom like a painting that had come to life. Her navy gown hugged her figure with quiet grace, and her smile was gentle, not forced. Unlike the superficial women Richard often met in business circles, she seemed real. Too real for the role she was supposed to play. At first, Richard kept his distance. Polite introductions, staged hand-holding, the occasional laugh at jokes he barely heard. He thought the night would pass like every other. Gala empty, conversations and meaningless gestures. But then Lily appeared. She tugged at her father's pant leg, her big blue eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Daddy," she whispered, looking up at Emma. "Is this your friend?" Richard froze. How could he explain? Before he could answer, Emma bent down, her eyes level with Lily's. "Yes, sweetheart," Emma said softly, her voice carrying warmth that seemed almost maternal. "I'm your daddy's friend, and I'd love to be yours too." Something shifted in that moment. Lily's face lit up with pure delight. She took Emma's hand without hesitation, as if she had been waiting her whole life for this connection. Richard watched in silence, his heart twisting. This wasn't part of the plan. Emma wasn't supposed to matter. She wasn't supposed to fit. But Lily's next words shattered every wall Richard had built. "Daddy," Lily said later that night, her tiny voice echoing louder than the music. "Can she stay forever?" From that day on, Richard's carefully structured life began to unravel. Emma wasn't supposed to be more than a paid companion for one evening, but Lily refused to let go. She asked about Emma every morning, begged to see her again, and even prayed before bed that Daddy's friend would come back. Richard tried to resist, but Emma's kindness kept weaving itself into their days. She visited occasionally at first to humor Lily, but soon her visits became the very thing Richard secretly longed for. But with every step closer, new challenges arose. The first challenge was Richard's pride. He couldn't shake the guilt of knowing Emma had been hired. He feared she would never see past that arrangement, that she would think of him as a man too weak to find love naturally. The second challenge was the company's judgment. Whispers ran through boardrooms and corridors. "The CEO is distracted. He's getting involved with a woman unsuitable for his image." Richard's position, his reputation, his carefully guarded empire, all seemed at risk. The third challenge was Emma herself. She carried her own scars, an abusive past, relationship that left her doubting her worth, fearing that any happiness she touched would shatter in her hands. Falling for a powerful man like Richard, with all his wealth and public scrutiny, terrified her. And yet, despite the challenges, moments of quiet tenderness bound them closer. Emma would braid Lily's hair while telling her fairy tales. Richard would watch them from the doorway, his heart softening despite his fear. On rainy afternoons, The three of them would sit by the fireplace, Lily nestled between them, and Richard would catch himself dreaming of a life he had long declared impossible. But dreams always collide with reality. The breaking point came when the press discovered Emma's past, her job, the fact that she had been ordered for the gala. Headlines blared, CEO's fake girlfriend exposed. Richard's board demanded he end the relationship immediately, claiming it endangered the company's reputation. Richard faced the toughest decision of his life: walk away from Emma to protect his empire, or fight for her. Knowing he might lose everything he had built, he chose love. Standing before the board, Richard's voice trembled, but his resolve did not. My daughter doesn't care about your balance sheets or your headlines. She only cares about who tucks her in at night, who makes her smile. And for the first time since her mother's death, she has someone who does. If protecting my company means breaking her heart, then maybe this isn't the company I should be leading. The board was furious, investors threatened to pull out, and Richard's future as CEO looked uncertain. But for the first time in years, he felt free. Emma, however, was torn. You can't give up everything for me, she cried. I'm not worth your empire. Richard took her hands, his eyes glistening. You're not worth an empire, Emma. You're worth a life. And that's what I want with you. The road wasn't easy. Richard faced months of rebuilding trust with his board, proving that love didn't weaken him but made him stronger. Emma fought her fears, slowly learning to believe she deserved this second chance at happiness. And Lily, innocent, bright Lily, became the glue that bound them all together. There were nights filled with doubt, arguments that cut deep, and moments where both Richard and Emma nearly walked away. But each time, they remembered the little girl who had asked the simplest question with the deepest meaning: can she stay forever? And in the end, forever is exactly what Emma chose. Years later, on a warm summer evening, Richard stood in a small garden lit with fairy lights. Emma walked down the aisle in a simple yet breathtaking gown, Lily scattering petals ahead of her. Richard's hand shook as he slid the ring onto Emma's finger, his heart whispering a vow he had never dared to believe he would. Speak again. You are my home. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, Lily clapped with uncontainable joy. She ran to Emma, wrapping her arms around her waist, and whispered into her ear, See? I told you forever. And so the single dad CEO who thought he had everything discovered that true wealth wasn't in skyscrapers or contracts, but in the laughter of a child and the love of a woman who taught him to believe again. Dear viewers of Whispers of Kindness, if this story touched your heart, please comment below. Tell us what you would have done if you were in Richard's shoes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more stories that inspire, heal, and remind us of the power of love. Together, let's keep spreading kindness one whisper at a time.